Welcome in everyone to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin, hopefully going to be joined by my co-host here shortly, who is having some technical difficulties, but DK is in the background keeping me company for now. And obviously it's a big day in the NFL. Big day. Rosters go from 90 man apiece down to 53. And then, of course, those who are cut hope to find their way back on one of the team's practice squads. So there's a lot of news flying around today. And I know I'm not going to break any news with this one, but the Ravens are the only team to this point to have yet to publicly announce their 53-man roster. Now, I'm assuming, hey, Jimbo.
Hey, I think it's working. Is it working?
Yeah, you sound good. Yes,
Dude,
sir.
Can you see the sunscreen all over my face?
I'm just happy and proud to know that you are responsible enough to put some sunscreen on, okay?
Look, dude, I don't want my face to be a catcher's mitt in a couple of years.
I love that. A lot of people don't have that foresight, okay? They just go, that's tomorrow Jimmy's problem. That's 10 years from now Jimmy's problem. No, you got to think this stuff through. What's going on, Texas Outlaw?
Absolutely.
What's going on, Gideon,
and
Nuno?
there goes my internet.
No, we had a good run, ladies and gentlemen.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. What's going on, Joe? What's going on, Lisa Ann? Lisa Ann, we'll certainly have you in our wishes, and we'll be thinking about you on the 23rd, no doubt about it. I'm sure. I'm hopeful that everything's going to work out. Be rooting for you, no doubt. What's going on, Kenny, a Moscala controller? What's going on, Zayfi? What's going on, CJ? Appreciate you coming out. Blitzbacker, appreciate you coming out. But Jimbo, we got some news. We didn't get all of the news. We didn't get the complete and total picture, but I think it's safe to say that the first somewhat, it's on Jonas DK. It's on Jonas Schaefer's, the most updated. The only two missing are Kadir and Pepe. But yeah, the biggest and most surprising cut that's been announced is, of course, Pepe Williams. Demarion Williams released from the team today after having a pretty strong camp in preseason. Certainly, was flying around the ball, making plays, hitting people. Were you shocked to hear that Pepe didn't make this team?
I was surprised because of, like you said, he had a good camp. But I think, you and I kind of determined that sometimes it's just math. I think I'm frozen right now, but I'm just going to keep going. Sometimes it's just.
Go. Oh, no. Now we lost the voice as well. Oh, Jimbo's so frustrated. He's so frustrated. I'm sorry, Jimbo. I'm sorry. But yeah, Pepe was surprising. My only guess is that they felt they had
You can hear me, right?
Now I can. Yeah. Oh, gosh.
All right, you keep going. I'm going off the screen.
Oh, no. He's going to climb. He's out there climbing the pole right now, trying to repair his own internet. I can see him now. Hard hat on and everything. But yeah, he had some flashes. The concern, I guess the only reason I can think that they cut him is that they felt they had enough help in the slot. We got to remember that Ardarius is on this team. Arthur Maulette, while injured right now, is still very much so on this team. Marlon has a ton of experience on the inside. Kyle Hamilton plays a ton on the inside. We got a lot of guys that can play inside. And maybe they just said, because that's really the only place he's effective, whereas guys like Ardarius have the versatility to go back at safety as well as play slot. Obviously, Kyle Hamilton is a multi-position player. Marlon Humphrey, a stud on the outside or the inside. So he just didn't have a ton of flexibility in his role. He had mainly one spot, the only spot that he can. And I guess that wasn't valuable enough. I'm sure they're hopeful that he'll get through waivers and ultimately bring him back as a practice squad participant. But that's my only indicator, because I know that there were some issues with his catch-up speed, and that typically if he's asked to cover a guy for too long, that can be exposed. He can end up chasing guys around, and maybe that weighed in on it. But, man, I that's the only thing that really shocked me. But outside of that, I'll give you the other names of the people that have so far been announced as cut. Kadir Ismail, another guy that, no surprise on this one. I always thought his ceiling was the practice squad. But, man, I mean, what an impressive camp from a guy who played quarterback his entire life, then transitioned to wide receiver very briefly before ultimately ending up as a tight end. And man, a fluid, just great looking athlete out there. I mean, the guy looked like he'd been playing tight end a whole heck of a lot longer than just a couple months. And with his father, in his ear and helping, I fully expect him to be, for one, on the practice squad, but also for two, to make huge strides. There we go. Hey, you look good, Jimbo. You look good.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. He's just it's just musical chairs where he just floats around his in-laws until he finds a place where he can actually participate. I love the tenacity, the want to. I got to say, Jimbo, I'm very impressed. But Kadir Ismail, I was just talking about how Kadir, hopefully will make his way on the practice squad, as you can see on the screen here. And shout out to Jonas Schaefer for putting this out. That, I mean, no surprise, right, Jimbo?
Yeah, no surprise. I don't think he did enough in the offseason to show that a team's going to pluck him and put him on their active roster.
Right.
And so I think it's pretty safe that he comes to our practice squad because, for that reason. He's going to our practice squad. Families here to develop here. He's a potential guy, project guy, and I think he's a perfect practice squad candidate.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Boom. We got a bunch of news. Okay. We got a bunch of news, Jimbo. It's dropping as we speak. So first and foremost, if you can find it, Jeff put it out there, DK, some more notes that just came out. Excited to announce Bo Brade, the Terp, made the squad, Jimbo. Bo Brade is a daggone Raven. Nobody said it was, everybody said this isn't possible. There's just too many safeties on this roster. He's an undrafted guy. Look what Sanusi Kane is doing. Look what Ardarius. We just signed Eddie Jackson. Well, Bo Brade said, I don't want to be given no spot. I'm going to take it. I'm going to make you can't cut me, coaches. You can't do it. He was phenomenal in all the preseason games. He was great in the practices that I was able to attend. And all the notes we heard from members of the media is that Bo Brade was very consistent through camp. It wasn't peaks and valleys type situation. This was consistency. The guy can absolutely tackle in space. His ability to read the ball, read the quarterback and make a play on the ball was incredibly impressive on that play that I don't care what they say, he intercepted that ball. Shout out to Bo Brade, man. I mean, anyone who was an undrafted guy going to the Ravens, you got to see, I mean, what an uphill climb. For one, they draft a safety. They have an all-pro in Kyle Hamilton. Marcus Williams is obviously a stud and is going nowhere. It didn't look like an easy avenue to make this team, but yet he stays home. He goes to the Ravens, and he just forces himself onto the roster. Congratulations, Bo Brade. I hope we can somehow link up and get him on the show. I certainly will continue to reach out and try and get him on here. But not only Bo Brade, but Sanusi Kane as well, the 7th round draft pick, who, again, fantastic looking tackler in space, got a little banged up in one of the games where he was just a madman making tackles as a gunner, in kick coverage as well as on defense. Man, they are some stud young safeties right there. I mean, you cannot find a better group of safeties. We got 6 daggone safeties on this roster, and all of them can play. So congratulations to both those young guys. No surprise there at the top. The Ravens waived Devin Leary. No shock, right? Like, we didn't see anything out of what he, that made T. Martin want to draft this guy and beat on the table for this guy. I didn't see it. I thought Emory Jones flat out outplayed him when given the opportunity. I know both have been cut. Emory was cut as well, but my expectation that one, I don't know if they'll sign 2 to the practice. So that seems like a little heavy-handed. It'll be interesting to see who they ultimately go after. If it's both or if it's just one, which one is it? I'll be rooting for Emory. Just saw more out of him, and I'll be rooting for him to make it. Also, Arthur Mollett on IR. They had 2 opportunities to make this designation with the return designation, and it looks like Arthur Mollett is one of them. So he'll be missing a couple games, but he'll be back at some point in the early to mid part of the season. Keaton Mitchell, no surprise here. He's put on the PUP list. So he'll miss at least the first 4 games. Expect that to be more than just 4 guys because there's that I think it's a 3-week or 4-week time period where he's able to return to practice before ultimately has to be promoted and made to the active roster. So I would say look for Keaton Mitchell at the earliest in week 6, but maybe 7 just to be safe. Because, again, they got Derrick Henry. They got a bell cow. They got a pretty damn good backup in Justice Hill. And so there's no point in rushing and risking a setback with Keaton Mitchell. Let's let this guy get completely and fully healthy and look at him as a trade deadline acquisition like no other. I mean, getting that guy to kind of carry you to the end of the season, even if it's week 10. Okay, you're going to give me a healthy Keaton Mitchell to have for the final push for the regular season and ultimately in the playoffs. I'll certainly take that. But yeah, so we are getting news. It's trickling out. A couple other bits of information we did get. Sean Ryan, another wide receiver, was also waived. Russell Gage, kind of a surprise cut in that they signed him. He's a veteran guy. He played pretty well in camp. Now, I was advocating for him to get cut over Dayton Wade. Turns out today that Dayton Wade was ultimately cut as well. Here's a list. Shout out to Jeff and DK for putting this up here. Ravens cut, like I mentioned, Devin Leary, Emory Jones. Running back, Chris Kyler, who was running hard, running tough position to try and crack in the league, especially as an undrafted guy, and that there's just so many running backs. But Chris Kyler gets waived. And then in the wide receiver room, Dayton Wade, Malik Cunningham. So Malik Cunningham, another converted quarterback trying to make the change to a pass catcher. Thought he also had a pretty good camp. Look for both of those guys as potential practice squad, or certainly in Dayton's sake when he made so many plays. So I'll be rooting for those guys. Kadarius, man, we talked about him. Corey Bullock, who I believe was rated as one of, if not the top rookie guard in the preseason, played phenomenal. So we'll see what happens with him. Darian Dalcourt, Tayshaun Manning, Julian Pearl, also all cut. And then linebacker Joe Evans. I know a lot of people liked him. He played damn near every snap of the first preseason game. Had some moments where he flashed. He gets cut as well. Rigby, Josh Ross, kind of wonder what would happen had he not had the car accident. It's kind of disappointing for Josh Ross to miss out. Not saying he would have made it had the accident not happened. Certainly when you're keeping 5 or 6 safeties, it makes it tough to keep depth at linebacker. But Josh Ross, I'm sure he'll find his way onto somebody's practice squad, if not active roster. I think he's shown enough already. And then on the defensive line, CJ Ravenel, shout out to him. He's a heck of a nice guy. I know that guy spent a lot of time with the fans, but ultimately doesn't make the team. And then DB Bump Cooper, who we saw made some couple plays in the preseason game, had a nice pass break up in the left corner of the end zone. He's cut as well. Sip to Tally in the chat. Appreciate you coming out. I hope it's okay that I announced it. We'll be having Sip to Tally on the show coming up this Thursday. Looking forward to that, getting his film expertise, talking about all this stuff, including the guys who made it, and maybe if he disagrees with any of the cuts, that'll be kind of a fun conversation. But yeah, getting back, also, I mentioned very quickly that Russell Gage was cut. It's a guy who had a lot of big-time play experience, a guy who's made catches in the postseason, and I think a lot of people just penciled him in when he was signed relatively late into that 6th roster spot, but ultimately he did not make this team. He has found his way out. Go ahead. Throw that up there. What do you got? Here? Okay, so here is the final. Thank you. 53-man roster. Is it all right there? Dang, you could fit it all right there. Look at that. That's very convenient. So 2 quarterbacks make the team, Lamar Jackson, Josh Johnson. No surprises there. But again, expect one of, if not both of the young guys to ultimately get added to the practice squad and be game day elevations. Jimbo's going to try it again, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, how is it?
Sounds good right now. Looks good.
Nice. I left the house and drove to Starbucks.
He really did. He really took that. I love that. I love that.
All right, can I just look at this real quick? I know I'm a little behind, but I literally heard you say, we got big news, and then my head hit the ground because I was so pissed off. So just give it. Salah made the team.
Well, hold on. Let's go down. Let's not jump out of order here. We're just going down the line. All right.
All right.
Running backs, Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Rasheen Ali. Now, we don't know how much the Owen Wright foot fracture affected Rasheen Ali's chances, but I got to imagine it helped even to some degree.
Yeah, we'll never know. They're not going to tell Rasheen that.
No. Of course, they're going to say we wanted this guy, Rasheen, all along. This was our guy from start, and we're thrilled to have him. So he makes the team. Now, this is where it gets interesting because at wide receiver, Jimbo, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar, Tez Walker, Tylan Wallace, and Deontay Hardy is the sixth guy. I'm not a fan of this. I'll tell you why, Jimbo. I know this guy has the most experience. He's a former Pro Bowl return guy, but he missed a lot of camp, and I saw nothing in camp when he was there. Now, he missed for very unfortunate reasons. I'm not going to penalize him there, but when he did come back to camp, I didn't see anything where he forced himself on this roster, where he said, you know what? Even if you want me gone, you can't because I've done too damn much. But I did kind of see that from Dayton Wade. And so my question to you, Jimbo, is this purely a contractual decision where they would have had to eat a little over $1 million in dead space had they cut Deontay Hardy, where they're probably feeling at least relatively confident that they could get Dayton back on the practice squad? Do you think if all things were equal, that if there wasn't the dead money attached to Deontay Hardy, do you think Dayton Wade would be on this team?
It's because we kind of walked through this scenario before, so I've been thinking about this for a while. I think that Dayton Wade was potentially always destined for the practice squad. Now that I think about it, unless he actually went out there and just absolutely looked like, a guy possessed. And the reason I say that is because, just like you said, Glenn, no one is going to put him on their active roster right now. It's not a knock on him. He's just not a known commodity. And it gives him an opportunity to grow. This isn't I think that if he makes our practice squad, that he doesn't consider this a failure, and neither do the Ravens. Mm-hmm. Because he's a guy that can develop. He's shown potential. And the reason I think Deontay Hardy makes the team, in contrast to that, is because he is a specialist. Right? Where Dayton Wade is not necessarily a proven specialist in the NFL, but Deontay Hardy is. I agree with you. I'm not a big fan of this move, but I also understand it. And I think that this isn't the end for Dayton Wade. I think that he will continue to improve, continue to show, why he had success in the SEC, why he had success in the preseason. So I don't think it's over for him. I think that this is a successful preseason for him, year one coming out undrafted.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to certainly find out.
Obviously you and I wanted to make the team and thought he was going to make the team and think he did enough, especially after they cut Russell Gage.
Yeah. What are they seeing out of Deontay Hardy? I didn't see anything this year.
Yeah.
So is it based purely on what he's done in the past? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And, well, not only that, but also their confidence in knowing that. So say Deontay just stinks up the joint, right?
Yeah. They're
confident that Dayton Wade is already in their back pocket anyway.
Yeah, I guess so. But look, it's not completely unheard of that a guy does get claimed.
It's true.
I know that's not likely that he gets claimed, but it just seems like a risk. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm blowing it up because he's a friend of the show and certainly rooting for the guy.
And we think he did enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably the biggest part is that, if Bo Brade did enough, then how? Because Bo Brade did a lot, but I think on the offensive side, the Bo Brade of the offense was Dayton Wade. So
yep.
I don't know. We'll see. But tight ends / fullback, no surprises here. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kohler, and Patrick Ricard all make the team. I do want to brag a little bit on the next one. I had 10 offensive linemen written down on my book here, Jimbo. I had 10 of them written down.
True. Did you get all 10 of them right?
You made me scratch out Josh Jones after our discussions.
Wait, you had Saleh making this team?
Right there, baby.
I see it.
Right there. Saleh making this team. This exact list I predicted because of exactly what I said that day. The only person who's been getting left tackle reps outside of Ronnie Stanley has been Josh Jones. And the only person getting left guard reps until very late in camp, like as in the fourth or the third preseason game, it was all Saleh after Voorhees. So it just made too much sense for them to keep all those guys. Now, Nick Samak, to me, is the only one that I thought with the injury, but then he bounced back and he gets carted off, and then he ends up just as a sprain, and he's back at practice the next day. So that one was a little bit surprising. But all 10 make the – now, keep in mind, Jimbo, you had us keeping 8 offensive linemen. I just want to point this out because I kept that up here.
Because I believed in Dayton Wade.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I got to be honest, Glenn, I think we both forgot about Keaton Mitchell.
Well, Keaton Mitchell was pup listed, so
But down here on the bottom, don't him and Mollett count towards the roster count?
Oh, he was IR'd. He was not pup listed. I read I thought that was two different distinctions. Maybe I'm
anyway,
incorrect.
I figured it was on the list, so if anybody wants to count all these names, they can, but I'm assuming that he count toward, well, let's see. We can just do the math. 5, 11, 15, 19, 25, 30, 35, 39. What 39 plus 4, 44, 50, 53. Oh, yeah, so they do not count towards the distinction. Okay.
So the issue I had is I had Mollett counting towards my 53.
Yeah, we both did.
So if I cross him out, then that would make room for, the guys that, man, I tell you what, we almost nailed this, bro. Like we've really, we had, I mean.
How many other people got Bo Brade and Sanusi Kane?
And, I got all 6 safeties on my list, and everyone said, "Oh, there's no way they'll keep 6 safeties." I'm okay, but who are you cutting? And sure enough, all 6 look, we're jumping out of line here, but let's go back up. Defensive line. So,
but really quickly though, are you surprised that Saleh made the team?
No, but I'm not necessarily thrilled that he if you're asking me right now, do you want Saleh or Pepe? I'll take Pepe.
Yeah.
That in that regard, but I'm not surprised because of how often he was playing. He was playing so much behind Voorhees that I just didn't see in week 1, if Voorhees gets hurt, who's practiced at left guard? There's no one but Saleh until very recently. So
yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I mean, so quickly, you're just listening. Offensive tackles are Ronnie Stanley, Roger Rosengarten, Patrick McCary, and Josh Jones. The interior of the offensive line is Andrew Voorhees, Tyler Linderbaum, Daniel Faalele, Ben Cleveland, Nick Samac, Saleh. Oh, and Saleh. That's it for the offensive line. But 10 is typical here. Let's see. Yeah, I might take Dayton Wade over Saleh. I agree with Ravens 9-12. Don C is a real one, Redbeard. Oh, he is the realest of the real. There's no one realer than what Don C.
Amen to that.
Yeah, I mean, he's as legendary as they come. But defensive line, again, I mean, talk about a group that has. Is there any more guaranteed group than the 5 defensive linemen that we're here in Baltimore, Jimbo? With Metabike, Pierce, Jones, Washington, and Urban.
Well, now with the way that Metabike is, the way that he's producing and paid to produce, it just lifts that whole group so much higher as far as not just the depth, but the top end talent is just out there, man.
I mean, your worst player is Brent Urban. Whew.
Yeah, no kidding, man. This is a really good group. I really hope that Michael Pierce stays healthy, man.
Yeah, exactly. Because last year we saw what a healthy Michael Pierce can do to your interior defensive line. Big time. Also, outside linebacker. And I want to get your take on a quote I heard today. So the outside linebackers are Adafe Owe, Kyle Van Noy, Tavius Robinson, David Ajabo, and Adisa Isaac. Let me see. Yeah, that's all the same ones I had. But my thing is, there was another rumor linking Hassan Reddick to the Ravens for a trade. And I'm failing to remember who it was, but somebody rushed to the defense of the outside linebacker group saying that this is the single most underrated pass rush group in the entire NFL. And that these guys are going to shock people this year. Do you buy into that, Jimbo, or are you still incredibly skeptical?
I'm more skeptical than others. I also heard another reporter say that since I believe, let me make sure I get this right, since post Terrell Suggs, I think is what he said, this is the furthest along he's seen our pass rush group at this point in the year, as far as
Who said that?
I forgot the dang guy's name.
Oh, okay.
But he was on 105.7, and he's a beat reporter. And he was obviously watching him in practice and things. And he just said it's a similar sentiment that he thinks this group is going to do really, really well this year. That makes me a little nervous. I don't know if I'm on board. I'm kind of at I don't know. This is the hard thing for me, Glenn. Who is your best guy in that group right now, in your opinion?
You're going to make me say Kyle Van Noy. You're going to
That's
make
a
me
problem.
say it, dude.
That's a problem, man. There's no knock on Kyle Van Noy, but that's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, but from a sack production standpoint, okay. But I think as an overall player, I think maybe Oweh's got him there now.
I think that's true. And I agree with you there. The struggle there is like you got to dig in the analytics for Oweh's defense.
I guess so, but not that deep. I mean, pressures, this is not like we're digging, that deep to find pressure rate and
disruption,
You're right.
You're right.
I just think they're if Odafe Oweh is given an immediate, 100 to 150 increase in snap count, he had 5 sacks, and admittedly, like even Chuck Smith said, he missed 5 or 6 that he could have and probably should have had. And now he's getting 150 more snaps. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable to think that with his progression that this could be that takeoff year. And look, I know
is really
Ajabo,
trying to make sure he sleeps at night, guys, because he does not want to run that 5K.
First of all, let me say something about that 5K. If Cole wants to smoke, if Cole thinks the confidence in which he acted as if he could dust me, it kind of pissed me off a little bit, Jimbo. So all y'all, any of you fans of road graders want to let him know, he needs to chill on that confidence. First of all, I'm 6'3", built to run, okay? If I just put my mind to it, I'm lapping Cole. So just take that confident smile off your face, Cole, when you're asked that question next time, okay? Pause a little. Don't just jump. Of course I can beat you. Hold on now.
I love it.
Now. But daggone, I used to be an athlete.
Oh, I love all of it. Oh, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for you guys to race. Well,
I can't either if it comes to it. But it might not, and I don't think it will, because Odafe Oweh is going to get 10 sacks, and you're going to eat a Baconator on 410 Sports Talk. But let's
How about this?
move on.
I'll run a Baconator. I'll eat a Baconator, and then I'll clock my time. And then I'll send
there you go. Eat the Baconator, dust his time, and send it to him. I love that. Cole is shorter. Cole isn't. I wouldn't describe.
I think Cole's
Cole
like
as short.
He's like 5'9".
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's like 5'9". Yeah.
We did challenge. We challenged the vault. Let me tell you, on their airwaves. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't come at us. We went right on their show.
I don't think anyway. We can go into this conversation, but let's
get back to the roster.
That was your fault this time, buddy.
All right, inside linebacker, Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson, Malik Harrison, and Chris Board. I don't think there's really any surprises other than the fact
we didn't take 4.
Huh?
We didn't have. Now we had
4,
but we had Malik Harrison.
Yeah, okay, but I still had him making the team. Just in a different spot.
No, for sure. But neither of us had Chris Board.
I had him, and I crossed him off after our discussions. You see this, Jimbo? Let me see this.
Because didn't we pick Josh Ross?
Where is he? Oh, this way. Huh?
See, you have Josh Ross on there.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, he got in a car accident, Jimbo. I mean, the guy.
Is he okay? What?
He got into a car accident, Josh Ross. You didn't hear?
No.
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
He's okay. But he did get into a car accident, and I think he was in concussion protocol because of it. So, is that right? Okay, DK nodding his head. Yes, I'm glad I didn't misremember. So, I'm just saying how we don't know how that issue affected Chris Board's position on the roster, because if he's healthy and practicing and not, with a head injury, then maybe Josh Ross makes the team. But
yeah,
I'm okay with Chris Board. Let's hope we never see him on defense.
Yep, agreed.
All right, cornerback, Marlon Humphrey, only 5.
Only
now,
5.
This is the part, which I guess if you're keeping 6 safeties shouldn't shock anyone. But Marlon Humphrey, Brandon Stevens, Jalen Armour-Davis, Nate Wiggins, and TJ Tampa make the team. Now, Arthur Maulette is on the IR, so it's kind of like they're keeping 6, but Maulette will miss at least the first 4 games of the season before coming back, unless that's my incorrect interpretation. But any surprises there, Jimbo? I don't recall anyone.
No. I mean, it sounds light, but like you said, there's 2 things to consider. Arthur Maulette are obviously coming back, but then also Darius Washington being able to play the slot.
And Kyle Hamilton plays so much. Plays more slot than anywhere else on the field.
Right. So there's just so much versatility there that it makes that it makes for the ability to be able to carry a lighter load at corner.
You're right. Exactly. And that's position versatility is what helped guys stay on the roster and will probably hurt Pepe and why he's not on this roster is because he can only play that one spot. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Like, what the hell is going on with TJ Tampa? Like, I know he had the sports hernia, but it just seems like we haven't heard anyone ask about him. It's hush hush around TJ Tampa. Like, is he going to be ready week what? Like, I don't know anything about TJ Tampa right now.
Yeah, me neither. It's hard to say, but they must have seen enough, Glenn. They must have seen enough. I mean, surely they value these spots. You know, when you got a good team like the Ravens, they value these spots, and he made it, man.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Sean says you're scared to race Sarah.
Why would I even address that? And it's not even just Sarah. I'm scared to race very few people.
That's true. That's a good point.
Even if it
like literally no one on the Ravens will beat Jimmy in a 5K. Like it's just being dead ass. So
today, certainly not today. Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
It's not happening. But
and the longer we go, the less. I mean, it's
just gonna get worse.
It's
gonna get worse. And then safeties: Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams, Eddie Jackson, Ardarius. You know what? How about Ardarius Washington sticking around for a couple years, just scratching, clawing, dealing with injuries. And he's not letting that slow him down. This guy is a badass. I love me some Ardarius Washington. He's got natural ball hawk skills. He hits way harder than he should at his size. Tough as nails. He's positionally versatile. I love me some Ardarius, and congratulations on making this team.
Yeah, so, Glenn, you know my dad by now. My dad is not a sports guy. I wouldn't say he's not a sports guy, but he doesn't.
He's an athlete.
He's an athlete. He's the only D1 athlete in my family, actually, which is kind of weird to think about. But he's not a ball sport guy. So, like, he was a wrestler and a gymnast. He played soccer, but not basketball, not baseball, and other things. I remember being a kid, and of course, I'm naturally absolutely obsessed with Allen Iverson's game. And my dad would say to me, the cool thing about Allen Iverson is everybody talks about the vertical game. Allen Iverson's got the horizontal game going on. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? And he's like, no. He knows his lane, left to right. Nobody can hang with Allen Iverson. He's not trying to be taller than anybody, not trying to outjump anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that just makes me think of Ardarius Washington. He's so good at what he's good at.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just really cool to watch the strategy that he employs when he's playing. Now, he's got by bigger guys, right? As everyone has, but it's cool to watch him time his shots where he goes after the ball. Like, man, all that.
Oh, it's incredible timing.
Yeah, it just takes so much skill. It's really cool to watch because it just seems that much more special knowing that, dude, we're talking about a small guy here.
Yeah.
You know? It's
yeah.
pretty cool. So shout out to Ardarius, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that we were both excited when we talked to our guy from TCU, but I think we also thought he was drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't think he was.
No, he was right. I'd love to know what his counterpart is doing. I don't know what his
Moreg, right?
Yeah, I mean I'm sure he's on a team, but I'd love to know just how well he's doing because he was drafted much higher. Obviously Ardarius undrafted, so it's kind of interesting. I don't think did anyone call, did I miss something? Did someone call TJ Tampa a bust? I don't know. Maybe someone in the chat did. I just see people saying TJ Tampa's not a bust. Well, no, of course not. Just love to know what's going on and is he going to be available?
Right. It's just, it's just such an unknown thing. It's weird because no one's asked really that much. No one's followed up on the injury and stuff like that. And I think it's just Glenn's point was, it's just a lot of unknown to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of hush hush and secrets. And I just don't. It just reminds me, like, anytime we have these hush hushes around injuries, it's like, what's like, Bowser, it was like, oh, we just don't hear about him. Now he's working out for somebody. He's got to work out for somebody. He's going to try and make some team. But and then, of course, the specialist, Justin Tucker, Jordan Stout, Nick Moore. No surprises there. So I guess still it comes back to ultimately the biggest shock and surprise as far as cuts is probably Pepe. And to some degree, I guess, Russell Gage. I guess that's fair. But
but definitely the biggest surprise is Pepe. I mean, no surprise around. I mean, Leary did nothing to make this team. I think that it'll be interesting to see if he even makes the practice squad.
Yeah, because Emory Jones to me is the pick.
Yeah,
And
no,
if
I
it's not
agree
both,
with you there.
then it's just Emory.
Yeah, and
Now,
DK saying Ty Bowser's working out for the
Cowboys. I knew it was somebody. Yeah. Well,
Good luck with that, dude.
yeah, and Dalvin Cook are both working out. A couple former Ravens. You know what I mean? Raven legends. But a quick shout out also to a non-Raven, Tony Jefferson making the Chargers 53, coming out of retirement. He hung up the coaching clipboard, and this dude makes a roster. I don't know if you saw, Jimmy, a couple games ago. He had 2 picks in the preseason game. He was smacking dudes. He was absolutely everywhere. Tony freaking Jefferson,
Dude,
man.
he needed that year.
Yeah, probably did help. Change the perspective. Maybe.
Well, and
who
the
knows?
body.
Yeah, to heal up and all that. Yeah.
I don't know. He's maybe out of some. Yeah. Anyway, he got to heal up for sure. And DK
I know Eric Weddle's happy for him. He tweeted out big long message.
DK said, "Slow your roll. It's still preseason."
It is.
Preseason's over now, DK.
Hey, he did enough. He did just enough to make the Ravens West, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, man. It's so weird to say this, but outside of the Ravens, I'm most excited to watch the Chargers, dude.
Oh, dude, that 100% agree. I'll be rooting for them so hard to beat the hell out of the damn Chiefs.
I know, man. I can't wait for a drive where you got a guy like, oh my gosh, what's his freaking name? The quarterback. How am I missing his name? Herbert, right?
Yep.
Herbert?
Yep, Justin Herbert.
He's handing the ball off 10 times, and they go in for a touchdown. Like, I can't wait till a 3rd and 6, and Gus is getting the ball.
Will we finally see a healthy year of J.K. Dobbins?
Dude, if they do, talk about a win for them.
Could be big. Could be big. And also, in unrelated Ravens news, I gotta get your opinion on this. So the Browns let Joe Flacco leave, right? They go, okay, you can go leave. They signed 2 backup quarterbacks in Jameis Winston and Tyler Huntley. And then they have another one in Dorian Thomas Robinson, who makes the team. So all 4 make the team, right? Rumors are that 2 of them are being traded, or they're at least attempting to trade Jameis Winston and Tyler Huntley. And here's why, Jimbo. For the same reason that they wanted Joe Flacco out of here, because your boy, Deshaun Watson, feels threatened by the popularity, the fact that people love Jameis Winston. They find him to be, a guy who, it magnetize, like teammates just flock around him. And he's threatened by the presence of those 2 quarterbacks behind him. And he wants them out of there, Jimbo. I mean, I'm sure you're shocked by this.
Yeah, I'm totally shocked by it. No, I'm not shocked at all. I mean, freaking what's Deshaun Watson, dude. Talk about. So you really think that that's the case? You think it's just a rumor?
Dude, that rumor is being floated around an awful lot. I buying it 100%, dude. While like Jameis Winston is embracing the backup quarterback role. Your starter has a history, especially recent history, of being banged up a lot. This guy embraced it like no other backup quarterback in history. And now you're going to run him and the other guy out because why? Like, what's the reason? Other than, I agree, it's his sensitivity.
Yeah, man. Look, if there's a chance that goes down as being one of the worst contracts in NFL history. DK is saying it already is.
Yeah, I think so.
But the other thing too, it's just hard to say because if he does turn out to have 2 good, spectacular years left, you just. But I wouldn't bet on it. I just dude, it's crazy to think that within so far that his best win is that win against the Ravens. I think since he's been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you consider what we were doing to other teams, took that narrow win away from the Ravens with the jacked up shoulder. But yeah, man, talk about a diva. Oh my goodness.
Dude, and you talk about this being the worst. It's still the highest cap hit. Still. And how long ago did they give him that deal?
This is the 3rd year on this deal, right?
Yeah, 3rd year. $63 million cap hit right now.
My goodness.
That's just off the top of my head, if I remember correctly. But
that's insane, dude.
For a guy who's so insecure that he can't have a decent backup on the roster.
Well, he's so insecure he can't just ask a girl out.
Yeah, well, that too.
Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about, dude? You're a multi-millionaire and you can't just be like, hey, you want to go out on a date?
Look, they asked T. Higgins, how do you attract the girls a girl you'd like? He said, I just wear my jersey out. That's probably literally how easy it is for an athlete of that caliber to at least get the look of some girl, whether, it's the quality. I mean, who knows? But yeah, you certainly don't have to hire a massage therapist and then assault them. I mean, that's, I think, fair, right?
That's insane, dude. Oh my gosh. How is this a thing?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Freaking Deshaun Watson, dude. What a conundrum.
Yeah, it certainly is.
And you know what's the worst of all of it, as bad as it is for him? And like you said it best, Glenn, I guess I thought about it, but you put it into words a long time ago. Like, if you're a vet and you have a daughter and this dude's trying to tell me what to do, he's barking at me. I'm an offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
No, thanks.
Mm-mm.
I'm good. Like, I'm doing it because I got to do my job, but it's not like I want to play for you.
Right.
Like, what are we talking about here? But what I was going to say is, yeah, it's just an absolute wild thing it's egg on the face of the Haslams, man. Because in the midst of all of that, they made him the highest paid player with obviously the most guaranteed money and the only 100% guaranteed contract in the NFL.
Yeah, and so far above the second place that he's still up there. Even after how many contracts have gotten paid.
Right.
Still up there. Like, it's not like he barely broke he jumped way out there. So, yeah, I love watching it.
I like what Bear says. I could wear any shirt when I was single.
Yeah. My man.
Love it. Love it. But
do you look at this? Do you look at that? DK, if you have it, could you put that back up? Looking at this roster in its final form, at least for right now, any glaring spots where you may look and say, hey, let's look around the league and see if there's any of this laying around that we might be able to add. Like I'll give you my opinion. Like, RB3 to me, I'm not feeling great about Rasheen Ali as my RB3. I know there's quite a few guys out there like Samaje Perine, former Bengal, and then most recently a Bronco. He's a guy who can do both. He can catch the ball in the backfield, run between the tackles when need be. I wouldn't mind kicking the tires on what he's going to cost. But is there any other positions, or do you agree with running back?
Yeah. Running back, definitely the one that I would agree with. Outside of that, I mean, if you wanted to get really picky, Josh Johnson did a lot in the last 2 games of preseason, so that's fine. But look, if you can get Jameis for a 7th rounder, I don't know. Not that they're trading intra-division, and I don't even know if it's even worth it. But that's the only other spot I could at least think of at this point in my mind. Outside of that, I think we got a deep roster. I think we're pretty set.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are like, go get a tackle or a guard. Well, I hate to break it to you, but if they're a tackle and a guard who got cut today, they're probably not very good. And they're probably not any better than the guys we got on the team, because there's not enough good offensive linemen to go around and make all 32 teams have quality O-line. So they're not in the business of cutting good players. So unfortunately, it's the toughest position group to build late in the season for sure.
100%. But man, I'm glad the Ravens put it out before we are in the middle of the show. I'm glad I was able to get my Wi-Fi set up. I think that's it for us, folks. We're looking forward to later on in the week as news continues to break, as we continue to work up to, getting ready for, of course, the season opener against the Kansas City Chiefs. Mm-hmm. But I think that's it for us, folks. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for hanging out. 400 plus deep, dude.
Oh, yeah, it was almost 5. It was just under 5. I do want to say quickly, as a reminder, we have a show tomorrow night. I don't know. Jimmy's probably being surprised by this. If I have to do it without Jimmy, I certainly will. Luke is going to be coming on again, who's a longtime friend of the show. Luke Jones out of WNST. He's come on the show before. He's going to come on again, covers the Ravens very closely. Then Thursday, Sip the Tally is going to be on this show.
Oh, dang, nice.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, look at that. Jimmy's finding out just like y'all are. Sip the Tally is going to make the his first appearance on the show. And I think that's going to be a recorded episode, because I think we're going to do it in the afternoon. But be on the lookout for that. And, of course, we'll continue to put out content to make sure you guys stay up to date on all go get Ritter. I know. Yeah. No thanks for Desmond Ritter. He does not bring anything to this team, but
I'm good.
Make sure you hit the notification bell. And of course, if you liked our stuff, click the check or the thumbs up so we can keep you up to date on all your Ravens news. And that's it for us tonight, but we'll talk soon.
See ya.